Hello everyone, I'm Charles Barron. Welcome back to Golfer's World, and it's our pleasure today to introduce Shawn Costello, our head golf professional here at BallenIsles. Shawn, welcome, nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'll start with the first question, that is, Shawn, how did you get involved in golf?
Well, I like to tell people that I was born in the game. Having my dad as the head golf professional and coach at Cornell University for 30 years, I feel like ever since I was a young child, I was born in the game, always having a golf club in my hand, swinging it in the backyard, and golly, I was probably 2 and 3 years old when I first started to swing away.
When did you, at what age did you start to compete in golf? I assume that was the next level.
Sure. I started probably when I was around 7 or 8 in the local junior tournaments, the 12 and unders, just getting involved at a young age.
How did you do?
I did quite well. I did well. Obviously, it didn't hurt having my dad as a great teacher teach me the game and the technical aspects and the fundamentals of it. So I did well. I competed well, and I loved I loved being in competition.
Competition is great. Did you play in high school and college as well?
I did. I played in high school, and my senior year of high school, I actually went to the American School Foundation in Guadalajara, Mexico, and I played down there, played very well, and actually won the national championship of the country in my senior year down there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Was there ever a time in your career that you thought you'd want to be on a professional circuit?
I think any young boy or girl who ever grows up playing the game competitively always has that dream of wanting to play professionally. It was no different for me. I certainly wanted to compete and play at the highest level. But as I got older, I found different avenues of the game that also interested me. The business of the game and helping members and teaching the game and running an operation, and really was drawn to that aspect of it more so than maybe being on the road and traveling and playing, and so I went down that route.
Just out of curiosity, I watch golf on television periodically, and I always love when the announcers say, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected, but yet I just can't imagine that under the pressure of putting for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in today's environment, $1 million, that they don't feel some. Now I feel a lot of pressure.
Sure.
Now I realize when you're playing at high school and college level, you're not going to have that. But tell us, or try to describe, what does it feel like to play at a high level competition?
Well, I think many people probably have many different feelings. For me, I always enjoyed it. I loved it. The more people that came to a tournament and watched an event, the better. I liked being in that spotlight. I liked having that last putt to win a match or win the event. They talk about famous professional athletes in all sports. They always, in basketball, Michael Jordan always wanted the last shot. So I think if you really enjoy the competition and really thrive in it, you always want to take that last shot, even if you miss it. It's always enjoyable to have the last say. What's
your heart rate like? Sweaty palms or not? You're in control of yourself physically?
I think if you're confident in what you're doing, you're in the moment, and I don't even think you realize what your heart rate may or may not be.
Okay. You mentioned just a few moments ago that you were talking about the golf side, the business side of golf. I understand that you attended Pga School and you took several courses for certification.
That's correct. That's correct. I went through the normal PGA program and obtained a Class A, and then shortly after that, I went along and did the advanced certification process as offered by the PGA, and I successfully completed all 4 of them.
I understand you hold a unique designation or distinction, and would you tell us what that was?
Well, in regards to the advanced courses offered by the PGA, I successfully became the first one to hold all of those advanced credentials. I think now there's probably a handful of other people that have gone on and completed all of them, but I was the first at the time.
Let's put that in perspective. And you were the first in the history of the PGA to do it, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I'm told, yes.
That's pretty high distinction. So you felt you wanted to be part of golf course management. Saying that, when you got out of college and you got all your certifications, where was the first club that you went to?
Well, in school I worked at a club called the Country Club of Sapphire Valley, which is in Cashiers, North Carolina. And then most recently I was at the old course at Broken Sound.
How many members do they have there?
At the old course at Broken Sound, it's a unique setup at Broken Sound in Boca Raton. They have two golf courses separated by about 1.5 miles from each other. And in the old course, there were about 350 memberships, of which were comprised primarily of husband and wife or couples.
And how does that differ from BallenIsles? I mean, obviously BallenIsles has 1,000 golf members. We have 3 golf courses. I mentioned a little bit more demand on your time.
Sure. Well, BallenIsles being such a large facility with 54 holes of golf, huge double-ended practice facilities, thousands of golf members. It's certainly a larger operation, and it's got a fantastic name, and just love being here and really enjoy the members in the club.
I do have a question for you, and it's a fairly common question as well. Is we have a head golf professional, which you are, and we also have a director of golf. What is the distinction between the two?
Well, the director of golf is seen as the department head, and the head golf professional is seen as the person who, from an operational standpoint, dots the I's, crosses the T's, and basically, as we say, we wear a lot of caps, as does our director of golf. And we have our hands in a lot of different areas of the operation, but we work in unison to ensure a great place for the members.
And I think this is a great place to play golf, and I think the people that you followed here certainly have done a good job, but now you're in charge. Now that you are in charge, what would you like to do differently to help enhance the golf experience here for our members of BallenIsles?
Sure. Well, I think whether a member brings a guest, whether it's an event we're hosting, whether it's an association play day, our goals are really to create an experience, and it may sound cliched, but that's unparalleled. We want to create an unbelievably great experience for each and every time that a member or a guest walks on the property of BallenIsles. We want them to enjoy themselves and look back and say, wow, that was a great experience. We were treated impeccably, the service was outstanding, and it was just one heck of a day.
One of the interesting things I find that periodically the club does a survey, and invariably golf course operations come in at the top. Month after month, year after year, the golf operations have run smoothly, and believe me, the members appreciate the effort everybody puts in. So we hope that your tenure here, you'll be just enhancing it, as I say. What kinds of programs to bring outside people in? I know periodically we have high schools coming here practicing. We have a tournament that we hold annually. We're into the 4th year of a junior golf tournament. Could you tell our members something about that for those who are not here when that occurs?
Sure. Well, we host what's known as the BallenIsles Junior Cup, and essentially it's a Ryder Cup style format that's played amongst men or boys and girls from the greater South Florida area. And they are the elitist golfers of the South Florida area. And it's a Ryder Cup, like I said, a Ryder Cup style format. And they play amongst each other. There's 24 participants, and it's hosted over 2 days and 36 holes of golf.
Do we want to try to grow that to be a larger event? Do we want more than that? Do we want to see this become a South Florida premier event?
Well, I think it is seen as one of the South Florida premier events. In terms of the eyes, from the outsiders looking in, being a Ryder Cup style event, you wouldn't want to have any more than 24 participants. You'd want to keep it at that level.
Just management.
This weekend, some of the top junior golfers in South Florida will compete in the BallenIsles Junior Cup.
Then there's another event that we've done a couple of years in a row. I'm not sure if we're doing this anymore, and that's when we bring a couple of golf professionals, have a Q&A, an exhibition. Last year, I think we had Peter Jacobson and Pga McKenzie. Are we still talking about doing that?
Yes, and that's a follow-up to the BallenIsles Junior Cup. That's something called the Battle at BallenIsles. And we take the winners from the Junior Cup, and then we pair them with each one of the professionals, and they play an 18-hole event amongst each other. And it's a great event. Most of the professionals, such as Peter Jacobson, are just great to have. They put on a nice clinic and demonstration for the members, and it's a fun event.
One of the things as far as positive feedback from membership, I remember a couple of years ago, the Pro Shop and Jeff and Brian were encouraging members to play with the golf professionals. Is that program alive and well? Are we doing that? Are you encouraging your professionals to be able to play with members?
I personally am a big proponent of playing with members. I think it's great all the way around. It's great to get out there, it's great to meet people, great to know the members more on a personal level, and it's also nice to give them tips and pointers as we play. So I'm a huge proponent of that, and we will look to continue to increase that as we move forward.
How do we get that message out there so members know that that's available to them?
Well, what we'll do is we'll create Play with a Pro type dates, and we'll create emails and send them out to different groups and associations and just members in general, so that there's an opportunity that they can play with the professional staff.
Speaking of professionals, the USGA has some new rules coming out, I believe, next year in 2015, as far as the belly putter and any kind of a club that's anchored to the body. How will that affect amateurs here at BallenIsles, or just amateurs around the world?
Well, I think you're looking at a movement from both the USGA and RNA that are basically going back to the roots of the game, the way it was originally intended to be played. And for those people using a longer putter and a belly putter, obviously they're going to have to give that up and go to a traditional 34, 35, 36-inch length putter. You know, from a personal perspective, those people that have bad backs and are using it for that, you know, for health reasons, and they struggle to bend over, you know, it's sad to see that go away. But you know, you can definitely see where the governing bodies of golf want to pull the game back to.
But can't this club, or can't clubs in general, create their own set of rules? I know that there are some balls in play where the club decides what rules to play. I'll give you an example. One tournament on television recently, and I think it was the US Open, there were sprinkler heads in the way of the ball, and they allowed the professionals to have a drop away from that in case they wanted to put the ball up or chip and just to get around it. So it was a rule applied only for that event. Can we have a rule here at BallenIsles that will allow our amateurs to continue to play the game and to enjoy it the way they were with a club belly putter, long putter, they'll be more inclined to help them physically? Can't we have that here?
And what you're referring to there with the sprinkler head is something called the local rule,
right,
where clubs can establish and input local rules which supersede any USGA or RNA rules. But generally speaking, when you're talking about conforming equipment, whether it be the golf ball or the club, generally local rules do not address that. So unfortunately from that perspective, just simply because when we have an event or a tournament, whether it's a club championship or a member guest, you've got to make it fair playing fields, and you've got to revert to the governing bodies and what their rules are. So it's a little bit of a difficult one when you start to talk about equipment.
Okay. I just want to talk maybe a little bit more personally for a second, and that is married or single?
I am married. Married to my lovely and talented and beautiful wife, Gina.
Excuse me, we're not on Wheel of Fortune. That's the way they always introduce their spouses, my wonderful, beautiful wife.
Yes.
And you have children?
We have a 19-month-old little daughter named Henley.
And it's only 5 months away from getting their first golf club?
She's close.
Close enough.
She's close.
Well, I wanted to let you know that we're very pleased to have you here. We hope everything works out for you. I can only imagine that our golf program is going to succeed because of your involvement.
Thank you.
So, as always, when you come into the pro shop, just remember, if you have any questions about golf, equipment, lessons, we have the best staff here in South Florida, all working under the aegis of Shawn and Jeff. And we're just happy to have you here, Shawn. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so
happy
much.
to have you here at BallenIsles.
Thank you very much. I
We
look
look
forward
to
serving
having
the
you for
membership.
years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody, we'll look forward to seeing you at the next edition of Golfer's World.